we're going to go over the 1 to 4 family residential contract for Texas. This is for the Dallas market. That's where E5 Realty focuses on at this point. Now you're going to want to know what area and what market you're in, as far as if you're in a seller's market, if it's a leveled out market, or if it's in a buyer's market. I've noticed here in Dallas, we've kind of got a mix of everything. We're still, some areas are very hot and price ranges are very hot in the seller side. And then some the upper homes have got dropped into a buyer's market, and then some areas are kind of in the middle where there's not as many offers, or the offers, it takes a little longer to sell the house. So you want to figure out what market you're in and how you're going to fill out this contract. But the basics are the parties. The first line is for the sellers, and so what you want to do is go on to the CAD tax office and see who the sellers are, what their names are that's located on the tax records, and put those names here in the top line. The second line, you're going to want to put your buyers' information on, their names. Over here you've got your land, lot, property information. You can get this information from the tax records, or you can also automatically upload it through the document zip forms, which I can show you how to do that in a separate video. Exclusions. You want to talk with the agent and find out if they got anything that is exclusion. You know, when I list a property, I exclude all TV mounts and TVs because the TV mount is an attached item, and so I make it clear that my clients are taking those with them unless my clients state otherwise. Sales price. You're going to want to at the top line, you're going to want to have the down payment. The next line will be the mortgage amount, and then the third line will automatically calculate into the offer price. Over here you want to select whether it's third-party financing, assuming a loan, or the seller is financing. Most of the time it's going to be third-party finance. You're going to want to click on it so that the X appears. License holder, this is for if the seller or the agent that is selling it is a licensed real estate agent. It wants to be disclosed here. Earnest money. Earnest money, normally in our markets, 1% of the offer price. Now I like to round it off. $417, I would put $4,000 or $4,200, something like that. So I always round it off. And then you want to pick your title company. Now I prefer Republic Title in Plano. Blair has done a fantastic job. The communication to me is very, very important, and they communicate with the agents, the buyers, the sellers, and the seller's agent throughout the entire transaction. And that's important. I don't like finding out a day before closing that something's not cleared with title. I'd like to know that in advance. They're quick, they get everything done fast, and you know prior to closing if all's going well. Earnest money here. Now this is for up here, the $4,000 needs to be delivered to the title company within 3 days after the effective date of this contract. So the day that the contract's executed is day 0. And then you count from there, 1, 2, 3, and you have till 5 p.m. on the third day. Now, if you've made a deal where you're going to have extra earnest money deposited after a number of days, sometimes after the option period, you want to deposit more money. Sometimes you say, I want to deposit $2,000 here, and then the remainder $2,000 in 10 days after the option period. Most of my contracts I put 0 in NA. Title policy. Now this right here is going to determine your market and if you're in competition with multiple offers. And I coach my buyers that if they really, really want the home and we're in a multiple offer situation, they may want to pay for their own title policy. Normally the sellers pay for it in our market, but there are many times that the buyer will pay for that title policy in order to get into the deal. And the reason why is because they really want the home and they've got multiple offers, and the other offers coming in, they're doing the same thing. And then title policy, I always keep it with the uh, same escrow agent, same title company. You don't want to split that up. Down on the next page, the discrepancies, conflicts, shortages, and area. Now, depending on the transaction, what's going on with it, if it's a buyer's market, then I'll click over here that will need to be amended, paid for by the seller. If we're in a multiple offer situation, I'm told by the title company this is about $375 to $400 to fix. So I put here will not be amended so that we don't have to worry about it unless my buyer says they're willing to pay for it. Survey. On the survey, you want to, I always ask for the survey within 3 days. I want that survey during the option period, even though you do have an out. If you get the survey late and you don't like something on it, you can get out. Normally on the survey, again, most markets, the seller pays for it if they don't have it. But if it's again, multiple offer situation, I'll coach my buyers that they may want to pay for that survey if the seller doesn't have one. Objections, I always put in there residential. You're looking at a house, you know it's in a neighborhood, it's zoned for residential, but I put that in there anyways. And then I always put by default 3 days. Homeowners Association, you want to check here if it has an HOA or here if it does not have an HOA. Scrolling on down to seller's disclosure. This here, I tell you, when I've got a listing, that's the first thing I have my sellers do is fill out that seller's disclosure. And I post it on the MLS prior to listing the house so that when the listing goes live, the seller's disclosure is there. And I tell all the buyer's agent that do not submit an offer unless it's got a signed seller's disclosure. Because if you don't have that, then you've got an out. You've got actually a 7-day out. So you can get this disclosure after the option period, and then your buyers have an out if they don't like something on the disclosure. So if you do have the seller's disclosure, the agent provides it to you, you check here. If you don't have it, you check this one here. If a lender, a bank foreclosure does not require to have a seller's disclosure, so if it's a foreclosure, then you would click number 3. I always put in there buyer accepts property as is. Unless there's something really, really detrimental, you know that the roof is bad and you say, hey, I want the roof fixed, then I always put accept property as is. Then during the option period, we'll take a look at what repairs may need to be done and add an amendment for that. Residential service contract. Here in Texas, the seller is, it's common for the seller to buy a home warranty for the buyer. I normally put in $500. If it has a pool, I'll bump it up to $650 to add that pool coverage. You need to get with the home warranty companies every year and see what they're charging for that year and adjust this accordingly. Multiple offer situation, you may want to waive this, or you may want to buy it for your buyers. Offer that to them. Hey, we're in a multiple offer situation. Let's put 0 there, and I will pay for that for you. You may want to do something like that. Closing. Normally, it's a 30-day close. You just go in here and you figure out what today's date is, and then you go 30 days out. Now, I work with a lender that closes in 10 days. I have my clients pre-authorized and underwritten so that I'm able to bump this up to like 14 days or 10 days if absolutely needed. Multiple offer situations, I usually go with 14 days. Possession is upon closing and funding, unless you've agreed to give them a temporary lease back, and then you'll sign a separate form for that. Special provisions, always type in there none. Sellers proceeds to apply towards the buyers. multiple offer situation, you want to put 0 there. I always put 0 there unless the buyers absolutely have to have it. One of the things you can do if the buyers absolutely have is you can actually bump up the offer price a little bit to compensate for this. In a buyer's market, you can put a dollar amount there to have the sellers pay for part of your client's closing costs. All right, notices. You want to put your client's phone number and you want to put your client's email address. Now, I always put CC agent. I put CC agent on there to so that I get CC'd on all the correspondence between the title company and your client. Here, the agreement of the parties. You want to select every addendum that you install with this contract. This one here, I've got the HOA and third party. Termination of option period. I've changed this according to the price range. A house that runs around 200, 250,000 or less, I'll usually put 100. If I'm in a multiple offer situation, the client really wants the house, we may bump that up to $300 to $500. And I put in an option period of 7 to 10 days. Again, this has to do with the market. In an area that you get multiple offers, I may put 5 to 7 days. But I always put that it'll be refunded back to the client. The client has an attorney, you put it there. This is where your clients will sign. Execution date is only written in after everybody signs off on the contract. Broker information, you want to put your brokerage information here, and then the listing agent's information over here. At the bottom, you want to put 3% or whatever the MLS tells you that the listing broker is going to pay the buyer's broker. Then this page here gets filled out by the when you deposit the earnest money and the option fees and the receipt of contract, you get that filled out by the title company. If you have any questions, just let me know. Please remember to subscribe to our channel for more education.